and I'm the faith liaison with the City of San Antonio. If you are in need of CEUs, this is one CEU hour.
Well, this not.
This one is not.
This is the only workshop in this building, in this room.
Tell me, do either of you have qualifications in social work? What are the other things?
LPC,
yeah, see, I don't think we have qualifications. So I don't have to tell you all that.
We're just gonna have fun.
We're gonna have fun, and you're gonna learn, you find some important information. In fact, I've got a clergy person over here who said, you know, not one of my breakouts that I've been to has it covered or gone into LGBTQI. I said, well, then you're in the right room, right? Am I right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
they can still do an evaluation and ask for what they need.
Thank you. So I do want to, I'm just going to turn it over to our speakers and facilitators today, but Eric, who is with us, Eric Castillo, he is Vice Chancellor at Alamo Colleges over diversity, equity, inclusion, and is there anything else in there?
I like to add justice to it, because why not, right? Absolutely. That's the goal, right? Is to work towards justice and liberation for all people. Yeah.
And Bethany Summers is clergy, senior pastor at Grace Lutheran Church downtown, not far from this spot, and I served there from 90 to 94 or 5, which I can't remember. So I'm also proud of the work that they're doing there. So these two had never met each other before this event.
Look at us now.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that exciting? The two people are, yeah, you probably will end up, you know, whatever.
Lifelong friends.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
lifelong
partners and co-conspirators, you know.
I'll say we knew them when, and we'll probably be that, and they probably won't talk to me anymore because they'll be best buddies. And
Never.
Anyway, thank you both.
Thank you, Anne.
You're contributing, and
Absolutely.
Let's move.
Okay.
All right. So, good afternoon, everybody. Buen dia. It is so good to be in community with each of you this afternoon. My name is Dr. Eric Castillo, and I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice for the Alamo Community Colleges District, where our mission is to empower diverse communities for success and our moonshot to end poverty through education.
I am Bethany Summers, and I'm the pastor of Grace Lutheran Church, which is right down McCullough from here a few blocks, and so blessed to be here in the neighborhood that I serve amongst you all community members. It's good to be together. Today, we are gathered in this place to talk about the strength that our diversity brings. One question toward that end is if anyone needs an ASL interpreter, if you're utilizing the ASL interpreter. Yes? No? Okay. Because if you're not, she doesn't have to be doing this. She can just participate. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michaela and Kendo.
Yes. Our communities can be a lot of things. They can be just places where we inhabit. They can be places where we work. Or they could be sacred containers that hold us. And Brene Brown talks about how the opposite of belonging is fitting in. And how if we are together in a community trying to attempt to be a sacred container, then we need to belong and not just fit in. And in order to belong, we need to be ourselves. And from where I stand, I don't see anyone who looks identical to another out here today. So bringing our authentic selves together in community creates a kind of safe, sacred container that allows people to be who they are in strength and in weakness. It allows people to be in a space where they can actually get help for their deepest, darkest fears, concerns, illnesses. The only way that we can be a community that really holds one another and allows one another to find healing for mental health and any other issue that we're dealing with is if we can be a healing community of belonging. So that is our goal today.
It is. And
Small
if
goal.
you're familiar with how this room was set up prior to, it was sort of facing us, where it centered us in the conversation. But today we said, we want to do as intentional as possible to create community and to model a circle experience for folks. Oftentimes when we're talking about diversity, justice, equity, inclusion, marginalization, it's often talked as this sort of lofty, this third party or this distant thing. But as we work towards actually building community and working in solidarity with each other, the whole goal is that we look eye to eye to each other. We face each other. It's easy for us to create and establish and perpetuate hate and inequality when our backs are to people. But when we're facing each other, when we're working all together to create the container, the sacred container of the space of this circle, that's power, and that means all of us have committed to creating the circle space today. So with the invitation for us, and Bethany's going to walk over the outcomes for today, but we also want you to help us to actually physically create the space of the circle as well. So if you are comfortable, there are spaces in the front as well that help shape the circle. So again, if you're comfortable, we invite you. I see quite a few seats around here as well. And we love to have you move forward so that we can create the intimacy of conversation, build community, and create and hold the space together for the next hour.
Yeah. Sometimes in order to see more clearly, we have to move.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Thank you. Thank you for
folks.
doing that.
Yeah.
So we are hopeful then today that we will model in this space and be inspired as we walk forward to create the kinds of communities that welcome and celebrate our differences and acknowledge the ways and things that we share as human beings, so that we can be strong and we can be spaces where we can provide that healing for mental health issues and every other issue that we face as a community together.
And I will say that also working in this circle experience together, this is an exercise of us deepening our understanding of and practice of the inherent interconnection and interdependence we have as communities across the world and, more importantly, in society.
So this is not going to be a panel and this is not going to be a lecture.
It will not.
We were told not to say this is an unsession. But it is kind of an unsession.
Yeah.
We are going to learn from each other. And when we were talking about this, there's like one question that we have like sort of towards the end. And I was like, Eric, I can't wait to learn from this group that's going to be gathered answers to this and ways that we can tackle this together as a community in San Antonio, because what we share here, what you all have in your experiences and in your professions and in your personal life and in your families, you bring incredible wisdom. So I'm excited to learn from y'all, and that's what we're going to do today.
Yes, and so we're grateful for the opportunity. And in or around the seat that you're in, we have some touchstones, and these are things that we like to do to help establish understanding of how we hold the container of the community today. And so I'm just going to read it out loud to be brief and help us move through. But the first of the touchstones, and this is coming from the Center for Courage and Renewal, provided by Estris Tucker, a facilitator. So the first one is be 100% present, extending and presuming welcome. Set aside the usual distractions of things undone from yesterday, things to do tomorrow. Bring all of yourself to the work. We all learn most effectively in spaces that welcome us. Welcome others to this space and this work, and presume that you are welcomed. Bethany, would we go back and forth?
Yeah. The second is listen deeply. Listen intently to what is said. Listen to the feelings beneath the words. To listen another's soul into life, into a condition of disclosure and discovery, may be almost the greatest service that any human being ever performs for another. And that's from Douglas Steer. Listen to yourself also. Strive to achieve a balance between listening and reflecting, speaking and acting.
Number 3, always by invitation. It's never share or die. You will be invited to share in pairs, maybe small groups and large groups. The invitation is exactly that. You will determine the extent to which you want to participate in our discussions and activity today.
No fixing. Each of us is here to discover our own truths, to listen to our own inner teacher, and to take our own inner journey. We are not here to set someone else straight, or to help right another's wrong, or fix or correct what we perceive as broken or incorrect in another member of the group.
Number 5, suspend judgment. Set aside your judgments. By creating a space between judgments and reactions, we can listen to the other and to ourselves more fully, and thus our perspectives, decisions, and actions are more informed.
Identify assumptions. Our assumptions are usually invisible to us, yet they undergird our worldview and thus our decisions and our actions. By identifying our assumptions, we can then set them aside and open our viewpoints to greater possibilities.
Number 7, speak your truth. Say what is in your heart, trusting that your voice will be heard and your contribution respected. Your truth may be different from, even the opposite of, what another in the circle has said. Speaking your truth is not debating with or correcting or interpreting what another has said. Own your truth by speaking only for yourself using I statements.
Respect silence. Silence is a rare gift in our busy world. After you or another has spoken, take time to reflect and fully listen without immediately filling the space with words.
Number 9, maintain confidentiality. Create a safe space by respecting the confidential nature and content of discussions held in the circle. What is said in the circle remains there.
When things get difficult, turn to wonder. If you find yourself disagreeing with someone else, becoming judgmental, shutting down in defense, or try turning to wonder. I wonder what brought her to this place. I wonder what my reaction teaches me. I wonder what he's feeling right now.
So we'll use these as our touchstones for the next 40 minutes together.
Yeah. We are going to start in on interacting with each other and moving a little bit. So we are going to ask y'all a series of questions. Some of them are silly and some of them are more serious. You don't have to participate in this if it makes you uncomfortable, but you're invited to if you would like. Eric, do we feel like we want to use this center space or just stand?
I think we can stand because we have some folks towards the back.
Yeah. So our initial idea was to have people move, but I think that we'll have people tripping over things. So if you resonate with these, if your answer to any of these questions is yes, we invite you to stand up and to just take a second and to look around and see who's standing with you in this and shares this experience with you.
Yeah, and think about who's also sitting. Mm-hmm. You know, as you stand and rise, the things you relate to, look around to see who may not resonate with that question or that idea.
Okay. So the first question is, please stand if you were a class clown.
Uh-oh.
I see some pastors standing up.
Loving that.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. Please stand if you, and you can sit down, please. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So each time you can stand if it relates to you, and then you can sit back down.
Yes.
So the next, please stand if you like watching reality TV.
Drama, right. Love it, yes.
I know, right? I wonder what y'all watching.
Okay, y'all can sit. Mm-hmm. Please stand and do a little jig if you like to dance.
That's a lot of folks. All right. There you go. Got the stanky leg. I saw that, Bishop. Wonderful. I got to see where you're at. Where you preaching, Bishop? Okay, please stand if you are never on time. Julie, I was hoping you'd stand. Wonderful.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, please stand if you have ever traveled outside of the United States. Lots of them. Okay.
All right. Please stand if you have ever went to a museum.
Cool. Cool. Okay. Thank you. If you are a vegetarian or vegan, please stand. Oh, Dr. Castillo, you're
I'm the
alone.
only vegan person in the room.
Wow.
Okay, I'll stand for
this is Texas.
Oh, right, okay. Pescatarian.
Okay.
We'll take it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Please stand if you play any kind of sport. Ping pong can be a sport, right? Anything, you know? Badminton, football, right on. Okay.
Great.
Used to?
Sure. Okay, you can sit.
At any point. Yeah. You, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. Okay. Thank you.
No one's going to make you, like, you know.
You're not going to prove it today. Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right. So please stand if you have ever had to rely on public transportation. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please stand if you've ever lacked health care coverage. If you've ever lacked health care coverage. And again, as we ask the questions, please take a look around the room. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand if you have ever had your heart broken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll give you a second to kind of give a rest. Okay. Please stand if you have lost someone close to you in the last 6 months. If you've lost someone close to you in the last 6 months. Our condolences and thank you.
Please stand if you believe in an afterlife.
That's the Quaker in Julie. Welcome, Julie.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Please stand if you ever committed an act of compassion that touched another person. Thank you.
Thanks. Please stand if you have relocked your car doors when you've driven in certain areas of town. Thank you.
Thank you. So please stand if you ever have felt as if someone was afraid of your physical presence, clutching your purse, crossing the street, or walking faster to get away from you.
Get away from me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if they're afraid of your physical presence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand if you've ever experienced discrimination because of your race, gender, sex, or romantic identity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Please stand, and we only have a few more left, so please stand if you celebrate a holiday that is not a part of mainstream society. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, yeah.
You didn't stand for class clown,
We all
did you?
celebrate you, Edie. These two should probably not be sitting next to each other. Okay, please stand if you've ever been unable to participate in something because the space was not accessible to you. Thank you.
And last, please stand if you have ever felt like an outsider.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
So hopefully that was a very helpful exercise for you. And so what we want to do now is turn to each other. And so we want to, actually, I believe this is your section. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Go for it.
The next portion is going to be a little bit deeper listening. Did anybody feel surprised by, like, that? I love the fact that on that last question, everyone stood. That everyone here has felt like an outsider. And I think that is just sort of a beautiful thing for us to acknowledge together as a group of humans gathered, that each one of us, even though we can look around and we can probably identify in someone else and say, oh, you know, this, I think I have your number, that is not always the case, and that we share more in common than we could ever imagine. So right now we want to get even deeper into that acknowledgement and into that exploration together. And so we would like you to choose a partner who you did not come with and you do not know personally, please. And extra points if you feel like they're probably really different from you, and get together with that partner because we're going to share an exercise together.
Yeah, let's do that first, and then we'll explain to you the instructions.
Yeah, and if you need to get up and move around, that's fine.
Yeah.
We've already moved around all the chairs and all that kind of stuff. If you need to move, that's fine.
And we're looking for pairs, so if you need a pair, please raise your hand.
Yeah,
so
two people together, a pair. Yeah,
Okay,
somebody. This one.
So pair, 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 pair. So this side of the room is taken care of. There's pairs there, pairs, 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 pairs. Okay. So everybody, if you hear my voice, please return back to the circle.
Does everyone have a partner?
Everybody has a partner?
Yes.
Does anybody not have a partner? Okay. So let's return back, and if we could all return back momentarily.
Does anyone else not have a partner?
I think they're all.
Anyone need a partner?
Oh.
Okay. Can you go with her? Can you two go together? Wonderful. Okay, beautiful. And then, okay, everyone have someone? I love that. Does everyone have someone?
Oh,
that's
very
kind of
profound question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Here
I know.
we go.
That's so beautiful. So for this, remember the touchstones that we had at the beginning of the time. We're going to listen deeply. And we're just going to listen, and we're going to let that other person speak, and we're not going to interrupt them, and we're not going to say, oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've done that, but let me tell you about my experience that's similar to that. We're not going to do that. We're going to listen, and we're going to keep our hearts open and completely focused on the other person and listening without judgment. They might say things that seem different than what you think. That's okay. They're not you. And so you just share that space together. We're also going to we'll have 2 minutes per person, and then we'll tell you when to switch over for each question. So don't worry about time. You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, we got you.
You just listen to that other person with an open heart and an open mind, and we'll tell you when to speak.
Yeah. So in the 2 minutes you have each, we want you to do just a quick, what's your name? And if you like, you can share what your pronouns are. And then we have a question for you. So the first question is, talk about a moment when someone different than you changed your point of view. What did you learn as a result of that interaction? I'll repeat again. Talk about a moment when someone different than you changed your point of view. What did you learn as a result of that interaction? So 2 minutes, you decide who goes first, and then we'll signal to you. So at the 2 minute mark, we'll let you know and put a pin in it, and then shift over to your partner. They'll get 2 minutes, and then we'll come back for another dyad question. We're all ready? Okay, 2 minutes starts now. We're gonna have to cut one. So we have this much left, so I think we're gonna have to just do 2 minutes. Because they're going to talk a lot.
Yeah, they will.
So I think we can do, which one do you want to do, second or third?
I think that the third, I want to go, I'm so interested in that as well.
Okay, yeah, that works.
I don't know, I think so. I mean, I think that's, yeah, it's because that's just more of a personal thing, and I feel like going to
Well, my thing is that these questions were about self.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
And if we did the second one, then it's about still self, but now relationship.
And the other thing is we could do the third question together with a debrief.
Yeah, we can start here, and then we can, because actually look, this is building relationship with people different than you, so we can talk about, we can reframe it, the last one we had.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, which is good. And we seem to be enjoying.
Yeah.
Which is good. 15 seconds. I think what I'm going to do for the next one, I'll do a half a minute wrap up so they know. 2 minutes have passed. 2 minutes have passed. If you could swap now, 2 minutes have passed. Thank you. So the other person is now speaking. Your 2 minutes begins. So Julie and I are practitioners of that. So, and she does some manual trainings as well. Seconds. Sorry. And the 2 minutes are up.
Okay, moving on to the second question with the same person.
If you can return back to us for the second prompt, please. Thank you so much, folks, for participating.
Wonderful. It sounds like it was good conversation.
Yes. Hopefully everybody can hear my voice. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
So the second question that you'll reflect on together, and it'll be the same format. Each one of you will have 2 minutes, and we'll let you know when to stop talking. The second question is, what are ways that you can create relationships with those different from you? Use I statements. What are ways that you can create relationships with those different from you? And using I statements. Okay. So
2 minutes starting
2 minutes.
Now. focuses on true. So I'm so curious. I'd love to. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds.
switch, please. Other person can talk now.
30 seconds left. 30 seconds. Here, you have 17 minutes. All right, folks, 2 minutes are over. If you could please put a bow on your conversation and return back to the group. Thank you. We have a very, very focused left side of the room. Thank you so much. And the right side.
That's not a value.
Not at all.
They're not our favorites.
Not our favorites at all. We're just observation. You know. Thank you. Welcome. Yeah. All right. Did you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, welcome back to Full Circle, folks. So now it's time. We want to have a little bit of a debrief with you all. You know, we just went through a circle exercise. We just went through the exercise in which you stood up, you did not stand up, the moments in which you sat, things thinking through you in this conversation, and these dyad pairings as well. So the first question we want to ask you is, for those of you that like to say something, let us know. How did it feel to be the speaker of your story? The person giving the gift of your story to the other person. How did it feel to be the speaker?
Well, it felt good to actually have somebody to sit there and listen. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, well, I understand, right? Mm-hmm. All he did was just listen. And it was kind of strange at first because, like, usually when you have a conversation and dialogue, mm-hmm. you're going both ways. And so mm-hmm. it was almost like, you know, I'm talking to him and I'm like, well, okay, you are here. He was very actively engaged mm-hmm. with the things that I was saying.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So it felt good to be heard. You recognized the person was listening to you. Just repeating for folks that could not hear. If you're just checking in, because the normal practice of speaking, as you're saying, is just back and forth. But that person gave you the gift of their time to listen to you, and you gave the gift of your story. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes?
I felt important and valued.
Mm.
She was looking right at me, and not talking, you know, and just listening. So I think it's great to feel important to that person and valued.
Yeah, I felt important and valued. Thank you. The same way.
Good.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome.
I was telling Monica that when you're having conversations like that where you're active and effective listening or taking part of that in that conversation, it helps a lot to understand first the person that's talking to you, for them to be understood when it's your turn to speak. Mm-hmm. So I was saying that's like really important as well, and connecting with people, getting to know them more.
Absolutely. We're such in an active listening mode. We teach that in schools. We learn that in our workplace, and just suspending that and just giving the full attention. Thank you. And we'll come here and we'll go to there. Yes.
I've done this exercise several times. So when you started, I knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
So I challenged myself. I heard my father speaking. My father has a mantra that the only stranger is a person he's never met. So when Edie was talking, I said, here comes my friend. I was about to meet somebody new for the first time, and when we finish, we're going to be friends. Now we talk about next steps.
I love it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Approaching them as friend. Thank you. And we'll take one more. Yes.
Yes. For me, it was very precious conversation. And I'm so glad that we end up having a partner, this gentleman. Not only his answers was so valuable, I learned between a few words. I learned a lot, and also he listened with a couple of the words that I said. He understood me totally. It was wonderful.
Wonderful experience. Listen to. Thank you so much.
Well, I would say, you know what I'm saying, this is the first time I actually had a conversation with a woman that actually just listened and didn't get
He did stand for class clown, just
Yes,
remember.
that's true. That's true. You're living up to the name. Thank you. Well, thank you all for sharing. But we want to ask the other question now. What did it feel like to be the listener? What was going through your what was going through your mind as you're thinking, as you're listening and receiving the gift of their story? Oh, yes, sorry.
I think because I'm married, my wife says you never let no one talk. It's better that way because you can use it in any relationship. And in the home with your children, instead of, I call it, I've been some training called unconscious bias. That would sometimes we make judgments without knowing really the whole story. And even in the Bible, I believe it says that you can bring up your charges against somebody and say these bad things about these people, and you listen to other people about them, and you don't even know them. And we should not judge because of other people's opinions.
Absolutely.
Because you have to get to know their hearts. Because that person might be the wonderful, but we go too much by people talking about others. Instead of gossiping and saying, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I want to know, because how about if they have a different perspective? I think I learned that some people have perspectives are valid to them.
Yes.
And we have to respect others because God created us differently. We would all have opinions.
Yes.
But He's such a great God that He lets us have opinions.
Thank you. Absolutely. And the practice of listening, like you said, is universal, can be for everybody, you know, and the gift of learning other people's differences. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I was just doing listening. I was raising my hand, but then I guess I'll just raise my hand. What I thought was really cool about what you all said, and then even the practice of listening, is like, typically, I know just in being in the mental health field, it's important to make that other person know that you felt what they feel, or that you understand, and even maybe that you've experienced it, like lived experience. So it's easy to say like, me too, oh, I understand, yeah. But to not do that was like, but that's a deeper level of listening that I think we should be conscious of, is that don't make it about you, you know, and so I like that.
Well said.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that.
Go
back here. Yes.
Yeah.
I really enjoy these active listening sessions, especially when they're done with people I don't know, because I question myself, how many times do I want to tell someone something, but I don't want their advice or their feedback? And we don't have enough time with the 2-minute cap to respond. And so when you actively listen with this short amount of time, it's like, okay, I'm listening to understand. Am I listening to respond? Am I listening to hear what?
Yeah. And you're listening to receive the gift of their story. Yeah.
Receive the gift.
Absolutely. Thank you. Arjis.
So one of the things that this can work is because the question is, what is a changing moment in your life? So to receive the story is such a gift because you know it's coming from a very changing moment in their lives. But I cannot do that when it's just like gossip, blah, blah, blah. So this is a very, very different listening.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll take you as a bishop, and then we're going to move to the next question.
I'm going to be short. I found it, again, I've done this before, I find it very freeing because I don't have to respond. Because in my position, people look for me to make a decision. I don't know. What's easy?
Yeah. What do I know? Yeah. Good. Oh, neat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Special. Yeah.
Did you want to take the other two?
Yeah. So the next question, as we reflect, is what did you learn? What did you learn, Anne?
Well, this is a nice transition, right? What happened to me in the listening, and I've done this before, but in the listening this time, first time ever, I became curious. You know, like, there was just this moment, it's like, well, I want to know more about it, right? I became curious, and I recognized it. I don't remember that happening to me before, because I've always been focusing on listening, you know, like be there, listen, and then this time there was like, oh, I want to know more. So that kind of listening opened space in me for something else to happen. And I recognize it this time.
Lovely. Thank you.
Oh, right over here.
Yeah.
I recognize that my partner here has had a lot of similar experiences in her life, and as I have, and had a lot of similar outlooks. So it was a very comfortable feeling to talk to her because it was it didn't, I guess you might say, challenge me. And when I find the person with the not horrible, that's terrible. When I find a person with an extremely different political viewpoint or extremely different moral viewpoint, then I sometimes have a hard time hearing. And so, you know, I recognize that and know it and can keep intentionally silent, but the uneasiness is there, you know, regardless. But there was none of that in my relationship here.
I learned that some of us, we are different. That's what I learned.
Yeah. That we're very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would hear a story that, like a shared story. But even though it could be a shared story, it was way on the other end. The other end that I could never handle.
Yeah.
Could you say that into the mic, please? Would you mind if I? Sure.
Okay, what did I say? Okay. So I think I was saying that I learned that we were different. We are different. And when I was waiting to hear the story, I was really waiting to hear a shared story. And even though it was a shared story, it was a totally different story because she was coming from a totally different end of the spectrum that I could never come from.
Yeah.
And so that's what made us, yeah, we're different.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I really relearn. It's like a come back to learn that we need to be intentional listening because many times we are so fast to talk, and I like to talk. And in this time, I am intention to listen more than to talk.
Listening more than talking, that intentionality of that. How beautiful. All right. We are going to try to end in a way that y'all can catch the Alamo City Street Choir because they're awesome and they will bless you and it will be perfect after this amazing time that we have together. So I'm just bringing that up because in a second here we're going to be like, and go. So one of the things that we wanted to reflect on together, and I think, thank you so much for bringing your open hearts and your open minds. What a beautiful group you are. I mean, oh my goodness, you're just amazing, and I'm grateful for each of you showing up into this space and really truly showing up with your whole selves. Thank you for doing that. So the question that we share in this beautiful sacred container is, how can we create spaces and opportunities for diverse neighbors to unite and to be the kind of sacred containers that can hold space for healing? I was talking to Eric before, as we were planning this, and I was like, I can't wait to hear what everyone has to say on this, because I want to be inspired, and I already have been by y'all, and I'm so excited to hear what we can share together about how we can create spaces for diversity in our communities that hold each other in healing. So let's heal the world, y'all. Go ahead.
First, I want to say that that difference was a good difference.
Yes, the difference is a good difference. Yes.
Only because of the story that she shared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to the question, for me, I think it's our kids. We start seeing our kids as our kids and not his kids, her kids, their kids. I think that's the most important thing for me, is starting to see all kids the same.
Starting to see all of our children as our children and as our future, rather than just that's my child and their child. But that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Why don't you go first, then we'll hear Ann. Yeah.
I think the key is what my partner say over here. He mentioned something about the Bible, but say God say love is love for everybody, and something like this. And because when in the place like he works or he serves, he receives people in need, and he don't see how they lose men, women, colors, age, anything. He only see the persons in need, and when the person's need, he pray for this person. I think if we think like him, the world will be better.
Yes.
Because no stigmas, no like, oh, who is this person? Why they looks like this? Why? Because it's in conscience. Like we see somebody and we say like, oh, she belongs to this person. She belongs to this background. But maybe not.
Yeah.
But our brain works like this, like stigmas of how they talk, or where they are from, or what is the color, so what is the religion, or what is the politics. Because it's in concept. But if we recognize we need to love each one, maybe this will
Wonderful.
be better.
Thank you. So no judgment, only love. Ann?
Well, I think Pathways is an example. And I know, in the work, coming together around community concerns is a great way to bring people together. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think this is a pretty diverse room.
You're wrong.
The class clown over there. We've known each other.
Yes.
Anyway, but I see it time and time and again. If there are people being intentional about something that's really important, and they invite community together, and anybody can come, and we can all be a part and are a part of the solution, diversity shows up. I'm guessing, I mean, how many people in the room go to a place of worship or prayer on a regular basis? And do your places, anybody's place, look as diverse as this room?
Close, but not quite.
There's a couple. This is good.
Good job, Travis Park.
This is good. And I'm not saying there aren't.
Yeah.
But I do know there are a lot that aren't.
Yeah. And you have, thank you, go ahead.
I wanted to piggyback on what Ann said, and as Pastor Wilson stated in the previous session, and the statistics show that during COVID or during traumatic events, people seek out their faith base, their faith leaders. So how can we collaborate and bring the multi-faith together, but truly bring them together? Our leaders of our churches, of our pastors, yourself, bring us together and have that community conversation. I know there are some collaborations, but we need to be strengthening them, and maybe starting from y'all, our leaders, our reverends and pastors. Okay?
Yes, wonderful, thank you. Yes. We have, like maybe one or two more, and then we're going to go to see the Alamo City Streetcar. Yes.
So to encourage the diversity, like with our neighbors, and I feel, how we all stood, that we all have felt as outcasts, and so that there is this difference within us and around us, but there is such a connection that we can't even really comprehend, and that is something like greater beyond us, and so leaning into that, and with that vulnerability that we display of like where we are and who we are, so that openness and vulnerability. I know I felt it from others, and I feel when I express that others have, felt that from me, and so that it is a way to like connect more easily through that.
Yeah, right. Trusting that interconnectedness that we share and bringing our vulnerable selves and being able to connect. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes, last one.
I'm a King scholar, so I studied Dr. King, lectured on the beloved community.
Yes.
The beloved community speaks to everything you just spoke of. I'll just add one little caveat that several years ago, a rabbi gave us this phrase. The phrase is, how can I be true to myself without being false to you? So I've used that multiple times, and you were part of that when we started this. Whenever I enter into conversation with people who are different from me, I want to be true to me without being false to you.
Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful.
Can I add one quick thing?
Yes, Anne.
There's a great website in town, on the web, Healing SATX.org. Healing SATX. And Bishop knows about it because of his wife.
Yes.
But it gives examples from all over San Antonio of ways that the community are creating safe spaces and places. And it's amazing the people who are showing up from different places in town to share in a porch fest, or I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of ideas of how to gather and create safe spaces that are very creative.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you again, all of you, for being here, and you've been a gift to us. And as I am a pastor, and so I wouldn't be doing my pastorly duties if I didn't offer you a blessing as you left. So please receive this blessing. It's one of my favorites. It's called Peace is This Moment Without Judgment, and it's by a woman named Dorothy Hunt. Do you think peace requires an end to war? Or tigers eating only vegetables? Does peace require an absence from your boss, your spouse, yourself? Do you think peace will come some other place than here? Some other time than now? In some other heart than yours? Peace is this moment without judgment. That is all. This moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be some other way, that you should feel some other thing, that your life should unfold according to your plans. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Go in peace.
Okay.